I'm here in the Thurles, County Tipperary, home of showjumper Greg Broderick, who's not long back from Lanaken, where he took the 5-year-old world champion with Arraghbeg Clover. Congratulations, Greg.
Thanks a million, Katrina.
How was it? What was it like for you?
It was great. Obviously, to get it done on the day was brilliant. I knew going to Belgium that I had a great chance with the mare, but obviously it starts with so many horses, and there's so many horse and rider combinations that go there with the same idea of winning the gold medal. But I've been there now. It's my 5th year running going, so I knew for the 5-year-old class you needed a particular horse that was maybe a year or two more advanced than it should have been for its age. Like Arraghbeg Clover is maybe the character of a 6 or 7-year-old already. She's very advanced and she's very quick against the clock. So
a mature temperament as well as the physical ability.
Absolutely. It's just a typical example of an Irish horse. She was taking everything in her stride. She proved it the whole season, going from the horse board leagues to Dublin, obviously winning the Breeders' Classic the week before, and to turn around just a week later and go to Lanaken to jump 3 days of such competitive jumping again was unbelievable.
Incredible. So just talk me through the competition, Greg. You had 2 qualifying rounds to get through to the final.
The first day, obviously, like I said, she was after coming on the back of the Breeders' Classic. It was €50,000 there, so it was hard to turn her nose up to that. So we had to have a good crack at that. It was a very, very fast jump off, and I had to go extremely quick in Barnadown to win that class. So obviously the mare was, the first day I jumped her in Lanaken was her first time in the ring since Barnadown. So she was a little bit anxious and tense. She was already waiting maybe to go against the clock.
Okay, yeah.
So her first day she jumped very, very well, but she was a little bit sharp in the ring. The second day I thought she jumped exceptionally well. She was back down, she was far more relaxed. She was very settled in the ring, and she was foot perfect the second day. And obviously in the final, when I warmed up on the Sunday, I found that she was jumping good, but maybe not with the same enthusiasm as she had because obviously she had such a...
She was a little bit tired at that stage,
She was a little bit tired, but I knew that if I could get the first round out of the way, that for the second round we started on a bigger rhythm, she'd get going again, basically. So.
And how did you feel going into the final? I mean, you were obviously one of only 26 with a double clear, so you were obviously confident, but how confident or how nervous do you get in that situation?
Well, basically I knew I would have been more comfortable to take on 26 horses as take on 63, but I had a chat with our chef to keep, Jack Dial, on the Saturday night, and we were just saying about the 63 in the final. Yeah. And basically my thoughts were that if I could jump 2 clear rounds in the final, clear in the first round and clear against the clock, that it would take a very good horse to beat her if she was going to be her usual self, because like I said, she's so advanced for her age, she's so quick against the clock, that she's so naturally fast, that I knew I was so confident in my own head that basically she could be so quick that it was going to take a very good horse to beat her on the day. So.
And what was it like to win a gold medal on the world stage? It must have been incredible.
It was a great day, and I was so proud to, we take pride in producing the horses. And when myself and Declan bought the mare in Jim Derwin's early last year, we knew we had bought something special. And so for her to come through and have the results that she had, it definitely made us very proud.
How important is it for you to represent the Irish Sport Horse Stud Book abroad at a competition like that?
Well, obviously, I'm delighted when you get the call from John Nettingham to say, can you take your horse to Lanaken? In the end, it's the World Breeding Championships. When you take pride in producing the best young horses in the country, it's nice to be able to take it to the world stage and not only show Ireland what you have, but to show all of Europe and the world what you have. So it is a big thing, and obviously we go there with the best intentions and doing the very, very best we can for the Irish Stud Book, and obviously to win a gold medal.
It's as good as you can get for the Irish Stud Book.
Absolutely.
The breeders' incentives in Ireland are very different to some of the European countries. I think that's something that the foreign journalists were asking you about.
Yeah, I think that the Irish Stud Book have to be complimented. It's very easy to give out and pick holes in all these things. But when I did the press conference in Lanaken after winning the gold medal, and I spoke about the incentives that the Irish Studbook have put in place, as in the Studbook leagues, and the money that the mayor has won from that. When I spoke to them about that, they were actually very, very surprised that we could jump for that money with the young horses. And I also spoke about the breeder, Agatha Leonard. When the mayor won the Studbook League, she got a cheque in the post, which came completely to her surprise. When the mayor won the Breeders' Classic, she got another cheque in the post, which again was completely to surprise, and she got another cheque from Dublin. So I mean, that's a huge incentive. She went to Lanaken again, obviously it's a Breeders' Championship, but she got a cheque there. But that lady was going home to try and buy another young filly to go and breed from. She
was after earning a nice few quid from a mare that she sold as a foal 4 years before.
Absolutely, but like I say, going back to the Irish Studbook, I jumped 5 weekends in the Studbook League. The mare jumped double clear 5 of those times, but I got a cheque from Horse Sport Ireland each time, which is, it's definitely a big incentive, not only for me, but I have breeders like Noel Cawley, the Brennans, Jim Burke, who have horses in the Studbook, and I can guarantee that they are so appreciative of that cheque to come in. It just takes the sting out of the delivery bill. It's all a help in producing the horses and encourages them to keep them a little bit longer, which is what we really need to be trying to do.
Of course, because I suppose in Ireland we are guilty of selling them a lot quicker maybe than we might if there was more of an incentive to keep them.
100%, and I think Horse Sport Ireland, they need to be complimented on what they're doing. They're trying to improve things, and making incentives like this they're definitely the way forward. And like I said, we take that a little bit for granted now, but like when I was in Lanaken in a press conference and spoke to them about the money we were able to jump for here for the young horses, they were very, very surprised. So again, definitely Horse Sport Ireland should be complimented on that, and we should build on it and make it better for the future.
You've said there that the Horse Sport Ireland incentives for young horses are definitely working, but is there anything else that you'd like to see happen in the industry?
I would think there's always room for improvement. One of the things I would like to see happening is that there was funds for keeping colts, foal and yearling colts in the country, which I think is not particularly the best thing to do. Those things have finished now for a while, but I think that there should be incentives to keep young fillies, because in the end of the day 70% of it is going to come from the mares. So we should be really trying to keep the good and well-bred mares in the country to breed from, because that's what's going to produce good horses for us. So I think there has to be something put in place to encourage breeders, owners to keep the good mares in the country and breed from them. People would have to sit down and to iron out a good way of doing that, but I think it's something should be done. On the other hand, I would say as well, another way that we should be trying to do is, basically I suppose I'm at a way that I be in foal sales, 3-year-old sales, I'm at the horse shows, I'm basically at all the different
levels of the industry.
Exactly, but a lot of people aren't. When I go to Goresbridge, even for the 3-year-olds at the sales or Cavan, you see a completely different crowd even at the 3-year-olds as you would at the foal sales. And it's again a different crowd when you go to the shows. So that means there's no interaction between these people. So I think for the breeders to get more educated and to understand what they should be breeding, they need to speak more with the riders. In the end of the day, we're the people that's sitting on the horses' backs. We're the people selling the horses. So we know what the customers demand from a horse, and we know what we like to have in a horse when we ride it. So it's a big thing that the breeders need to communicate more with the riders, go to the shows, see what's demanded of a horse now at the horse shows, to see what we need to jump. And like again, going back to it, I have to compliment the breeders that go to Lanaken even to see what we need in a world stage in a horse, to see what sires are producing the best horses that they can go back and use them on their mares. That's a big thing. But like just in the Breeders' Classic gone by, we had a foal sale, and I think there possibly was as many people that came to watch the foal selling as they'd come to watch the show jumping. But that's a good incentive at the show. It gets a different crowd together, and it gets them together, it gets them talking, gets them speaking about different things.
So at the moment you reckon it's actually completely different groups of people who are buying foals, 3-year-olds, and then buying them to jump?
Absolutely, but I mean it has to start from the ground up. The people breeding the horses need to speak to the people that are riding the horses more. And I mean, it's not the case that if someone picks up the phone or rings me or asks me a different thing, have a look at a mare or a foal, or a lot of the other riders, that we wouldn't like to help, because in the end of the day, if we're not breeding the best horses, we don't have the good horses to ride down the road. And I'm breeding them as well, but there's plenty of riders that are going out buying horses, and I'm sure they're going to want to see better animals being bred. So I mean, the only way we're going to do that is for everyone to communicate together, and in that case we need to get the breeders and the riders and the owners communicating more together
with each other.
And I feel that should improve the standard.
Brilliant. And what's the latest with Arraghbeg Clover? I gather there's been some exciting news since Lanaken.
Arraghbeg Clover is now, she's sold. Myself and Declan Orpin, who part owned the mare, we had a lot of interest in the mare. Obviously, she had such a CV before Lanaken even started. Even in 2012, she was 4-year-old champion in Dublin. So I mean, she's proved it all the way along. But I'd said at the start of 2013 that I knew it was a horse for the 5-year-olds in Lanaken, that she would have had a great chance of winning a medal. So we said that we would try not to sell the mare prior to Lanaken, because we knew we would have a great chance going there.
Right.
So obviously everything had to work out the right way, and obviously we were very lucky with the route we got there. Everything worked out, and we have won a gold medal. But now, obviously, for different reasons, we've sold the mare, and I mean, it's very hard when she's a world champion to turn down the money that we were offered for the mare. So she's been sold, but like, all that money is going to go back into the whole system again. We'll reinvest in some new horses. And
you've said before that it's always a business and you try not to get too attached.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, you have a particular fondness for this one.
I do, because my cousin Dara, who when he finished school, he came to ride with us here. And when we bought the mare, I said to Dara, you can have this one from Dublin. And he was only 18 at the time, and he won the 4-year-old championship in Dublin, which is a big thing. And I've ridden a lot of 4-year-olds in Dublin. I haven't managed to win the 4-year-old championship there, so I was really proud of Dara and the horse to see them win the championship there. And then to turn around and do what she's done this year, to win a Breeders' Classic and win a gold medal. It is obviously I have got fairly attached to the horse, but to make it commercially viable, we have to keep selling them.
Yeah. And she might be leaving the yard, but she's leaving behind some mementos there, a gold medal. Absolutely. And a very impressive globe from Lanaken.
Yeah.
You have had a medal from Lanaken before, but not of this colour.
No, I went there with Ballypatrick Mystique as a 7-year-old, and we won a bronze medal. In that year, Clement McMahon won a gold medal with Arraghbeg Clover. And Clem and myself would be good friends, so he was warning me before I went. I think this is the other one I won with Mystique. He was telling me not to bring home any more egg cups, so
right.
I had to go and bring home the big one this year.
Size.
Yeah, so thankfully it all worked out well. In addition to that, I had going global in the 7-year-old final this year.
Of course.
Knew going he would have a great chance as well. He qualified for the final, the top 40 from over 200 horses as well. There was only 7 clears in the first round, and he was clear, jumped an unbelievable first round, and I mean over a serious big technical track, open water, everything, and he really showed, that he's a real star of the future as well.
And is he overage for Lanaken next year, or is he?
He's overage next year.
He's overage for next year, but you have high hopes for him in terms of championship,
Absolutely.
Nations Cup, league. You think that's what he's made of?
I absolutely think that. We've really taken our time producing him. He's never been in top gear yet. We've just been babying him along all the time, because I think he has such a bright future in front of him. But he went there and gave an absolute exhibition as well. We had the first fence down in the jump off, which left us in 7th place. But I think for anybody that was there and saw how the horse jumped and performed as well, could appreciate just how big the 7-year-olds in Lanaken is. Really a serious competition. It's like a world ranking class. It is a world ranking class in the final, actually. But the horse just did it at his ease, and it makes you very confident pushing forward to next year, to progressing maybe to some of the 4-star Nations Cups, and hopefully there's big things to come from him in the future.
Great. Greg, listen, thanks very much for talking to us today. I think you're going to bring us out later to see Arraghbeg Clover before she leaves for Germany.
Absolutely.
And listen, congratulations again. Fantastic result for yourself, the team here at Ballypatrick Stables, and for Ireland in general.
Thanks a million, Katrina.